it's a different type of class, you know. This is a different type of class tonight, you know what I'm saying? We about to keep it true, you heard me? That's what the fuck we do. That's what the classroom about, keeping it true. So you know what I'm saying? This I'm gonna lay the baseline about why we even started this shit. Like I heard you talking a couple of weeks ago about depression and shit like that, you know, and you losing a good friend of yours and shit like that, and you was,
Mm-hmm.
you know, dealing with depression and shit, and that shit really touched me because like I had a time where like I was going through that shit, like when I lost Choking and shit, I was going through a lot of shit, like and going through depression, like nigga, I didn't even know I was going through it, like I didn't even know I was
Oh
going
yeah, I
through
knew
it,
him.
like um. We gonna just jump straight into it. Like we gonna just jump straight into it. Like when I was going through that shit, like my nigga had a wedding coming up and shit like that. Like, and I forgot to clean about the wedding. Like not even being aware. Like I knew it's like I don't even put it like no nigga got killed in like October, and my partner wedding was in January and shit like that. So like
Yeah.
in the midst of him dying and shit, we was getting ready for the wedding and shit like that. And like I know how it felt to my partner, me not being there for his wedding and shit like that. Cause like I would feel some type of way if I had my wedding and my partner didn't come. So I knew how he felt on that shit. And then I'm like, I'm going through some shit. Like, nigga, I don't even know if today is today. I don't even know what day of the week it is. Cause like really, nigga, I'm just waking up and going with my day. You know, like I don't even know I'm going through this shit. Like I don't even know I'm going through depression. I don't even know I'm reacting to my nigga death in that type of way, like being that, yeah,
Yeah.
like
Well, you sometimes
you
you
don't
don't
even,
even realize
I
it,
didn't
man.
even know how to mourn and shit. Like
You know.
the time that I knew I was going, like something I knew was wrong. My grandmother hit me up and she was like, "Oh, you're not you." Blake, she told my mama was like, "I don't see Blake no more. Like something wrong with him and type shit." And that made me sit down and think, like, what the fuck? Like, have I been really changing that much? It made me really sit down and think, like, something not really right. Like, and it made me think about all the shit, like, the fuck I've been doing. Like, the fuck? Like, something wrong. Like, and as I really realized, like, I've been going through depression and shit like that. Like, and when you brung that up, and then Cecil was like, man, I was like, oh, I be thinking about this, that. I'm like, nah, you just be stressing. You be worried about shit. That's not depression. Stress and depression is two different totally things. Like,
Well, they go hand in hand, man. Like people will say that, but
yeah,
depression can actually be the reason that you're stressing. You know what I'm saying? And you don't. And people don't even realize that. Like if people are so used to, I guess they want things to be less than what it is. Because they think when you think of depression, people thinking it's so heavy and that's a big thing, and they be like, nah, that's not this, but they don't really know that they're in it. So they're like, oh, it's just this. I just got to do that, or I just got to do this, and you don't realize you just in this slow downward cycle the
hell
whole
yeah,
time, and you're not really back to yourself until you actually like face it and deal with it. Because you're
yeah,
going off what everybody else says. Oh, you just this, or you just that, and it's really something that you got to go through yourself, man. Because ain't nobody gonna be
man.
feeling how you feel. Like for instance, like
Mm-hmm.
I knew Chokey. I didn't know him as well as you, but like from me knowing him, I know him as a person. Like I think it was sad that it happened because even if you had a problem with him, uh, I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
he was a person that you
Like,
could go up to and
fuck.
talk to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because I've even like there's been a situation like he knew my
Mm-hmm.
face, and I remember even the situation when I was there with Sco, and me and Sco ran up on him, hey man, this and that dude, and we stopped them and
Man,
another dude from having like an
downtown when the nigga
altercation,
pull out the gun.
and he was there.
When the nigga pull out the
Yeah,
gun, like, hey, nigga, I don't even know who the fuck
yeah.
you is at this point. But are you bringing this story up, nigga? I already know, man. I love school. Hey, school like a brother to me, my nigga. Whatever school need, nigga, I got his back. Like, and you bringing that situation up, man. I know exactly what situation you talking about. I know exactly what situation you
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about. It
yeah.
was a
I,
nigga
I
from
was down there. I was
Opelousas,
down there
nigga.
with Scope.
Yeah, I already know the whole situation. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I know
Yeah, yeah,
Sko
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Chris
But
Baker.
that particular night you talking about, nigga, yeah,
Yeah,
I
man.
know the
So like,
particular night you talking about. That particular,
yeah, and all we did was talk to him. Hey, look, man, don't worry about this and that. Just like we look, we know you'll handle business or whatever.
yeah,
Just like look, like don't do it. It ain't even worth it, you know. And the same thing, like if it was just a moderator, if the guy was even still right there, you know what I'm saying? That could have been dead then. And I think it could have been the same for whoever did
yeah,
what they did that to take his life, man.
bro.
That could have been something that could have been talked out.
Yeah,
Or at
at
the
the end of
worst
the
case
day, could have,
scenario,
you know
fought
what I'm
out.
saying? Like over some dumbass shit. It wasn't even about no, man. That shit's a whack, my nigga. Like,
And And so here's the first thing that happens, like man, like and then you probably been through this first thing you start thinking is like, damn man, like you might have been thinking if I had called
this,
or I went by or if I could have been there
let me
or
tell you the
something
whole
that you might have
crazy
could have done, you
situation,
start
my
thinking
nigga.
of that.
Like the whole crazy shit. Like, all right, the shit was rolling. Like, so you knew about the shit we was doing our little thing downtown and shit. Where he got his little bid. He did his little time in jail. You feel me? But me, I'm trying to be a genuine
Hmm.
person. I could have just went and just jumped off where we left off at. But I'm like, fucking no, I'm not gonna just do that shit. I'm gonna start off like any other artist would, start off from the bottom, So I started doing that shit, just doing that shit till
Yeah,
he come out. But I really didn't want the fame, like, cause I knew, man, like my nigga was about to blow. Like, man, everything was rolling right. Like, so he got out and shit like that in February around my birthday, my nigga. So bam, we talking and shit like that. A lot of shit going on in his personal life. So fast forward, I'm doing my thing. Fast forward to that October month. We talking, he about to get back in groove and shit. I guess he finally felt like, let's get it back rolling. So he finally got his cover art at Say So and shit like that. Like I pull up to that nigga that Friday, man. He died that Monday fucking morning. So I pull up to him that Friday. I'm like, hey man, I'm about to hit the
yeah,
studio, bitch. You pulling up? He like, nah, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm like, yeah, whoa, 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 whoa. You need to get back on that shit, bitch. It's too much money. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So in between that Friday and that Saturday, he must have hollered at Say So to get his graphic done. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh yeah, bitch is up. So bam. That Saturday night, I talked to him. Woo to woo. We running and shit like that. Like Sunday, he like, bam. I'm like, pull up on me and shit like that. Bum. I get off of work. I'm like, bum. I must have fell asleep or some shit, but I ended up falling asleep that night. Like, and the crazy shit is, we was about to get shit back rolling, back to where, like, it's just so crazy. Like, I can't, like, sometimes like, at first I felt the blame. Like, I put myself as the blame. Like, I could have done more, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, uh, I should have done more type
yeah,
shit. Like, but you can't force nobody to do shit they're not doing. They don't want to do. Like, I don't know. It's so much shit I had to come to realize that it wasn't my fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
yeah. But it's still tough, man, because you
yeah,
know when you call somebody especially you calling somebody like a brother, uh, man, it's tough because you think about
yeah,
you think further back to the situation. Is there anything that you could have done? Not even that day, but before that, they could have changed this or whatever. Like, man, if I was more present, if I was more this, more that, you start to think about that, man. The same thing, like with my cousin, man, his thing, like my
mm-hmm,
cousin, he at first he was like a big time drug dealer or whatever, and so, but then he actually ended up getting caught. So from there,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
once you
It's
beat
kind of
those
hard.
cases
Like
and
I
stuff like
try to
that,
tell my, hey
and
man,
you
I'm
try to
happy you
live that
said this
regular
shit
life,
because
it's kind
it's
of hard
hard.
for
I
you
try
to
to tell my
get back to
niggas,
that regular
man,
life.
it's hard coming out that
Yeah,
fucking street life and getting back normal. It's like everything against you to get back normal. Like it's hard as fuck, man. How could I put this? Coming from the street life, and I moved all the way in Denver and shit. When I moved out here, nigga, Homeland Security
yeah,
was on me, my nigga. Like, I'm like, it's so hard coming out their street life to come back to society, my nigga. Like I tell niggas like I was living so off the radar,
Oh,
like
definitely, man,
it's ridiculous.
definitely,
And I
yeah, and I was telling him. Like I was telling him, like keep doing what you're doing. So the whole time, like like off and on, we'll still be talking because we live like so far apart. But he'd always hit me up, and the thing was, whenever he hit me up, he always had so much love for you. He's like, "Hey man, I just want to tell you, I love you, I miss you, man. I want you to
yeah,
visit more." And I'd be like, "Yeah, Los," and then he didn't plan to like to talk with me more. And then we'd talk about what he was doing, and he was like trying to go to school for some type of medical profession, man. So he did that, graduated, but I think at first he couldn't pass his test, so he was
hmm
still trying to find a job with it. And so being that he like he
yeah,
sold coke and stuff, and being to do that, he started he was first he was using it recreationally. Then as things happen and things turn, he started using it more. He started getting with
yeah,
this girl that's using it more. Next thing you know, bam, he got kind of an addiction. He got not kind of, we got an addiction to it. And so and then so from there, just going on with that, he finally beat it off, man. But the thing is, like, he went to it, like even
yeah.
going to the other side, he went to it because of like depression things that he was dealing with. Like I listened, he was into music too, and I listened back to some of his songs. And when he was recording in 2002, man, where he was talking about all the pain and people dying, I talked to his
I'll put it
son.
like that.
His son even talking about all
Not to
his
interrupt
friends
you,
dying
but
in
art
Monroe,
most
Louisiana.
artists is
And
just
so
like the most
at the
depressed
time, like,
motherfuckers in the world because
so
they got
what?
so much shit to
Yeah.
they see shit from a different point of view, and they absorb shit differently than normal people. Like, and that's why they have a hard time because they can't really express shit the way they want to. So that's why most musicians really fall into a depressed state of mind. You know what I'm saying? Like they got so much pressure on them that they got a message they want to put out and they can't really put it out. You know? I'm like, but keep going. My bad.
Yeah. So with him, man, yes, yeah. So with him, he turned like he ended up turning to God and stuff, and he ended up
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot better, man. And we haven't got the autopsy back, but for honestly, to me, what it sounds like, man, sounds like he was doing better. But
Mm-hmm.
I seen a time where he had went into the hospital when he was going through that stuff, whatever. So I feel like, man, if he
Yeah,
didn't end
yeah,
up
yeah,
like
yeah.
relapsing or something like that, I feel like it was just too much stress on his body, from everything that he had did, man. And it was just the hardest part for me is because I didn't really get on Facebook like talking about. But when I started getting on Facebook, I started seeing him like he had a time where he went through saying crazy stuff, and I even saw a crazy video of him just talking out his head, and I was just like, man, I never used to get on. Like, bro, when I say I had no
Yeah.
idea, like I ain't hear from my family about it, nothing that my bro was struggling like that, man, bro. And that's what really like fucked me up, man, because here's a guy like he used to pour his heart every time we talk. Like he never get off the phone without saying that he love you, he miss you, you know what I'm saying, that he's proud of me or
You took
whatever.
that shit for
And it
granted.
messed me up so much because I feel like, man, from what I meant to him and what he meant to me, like I
Yeah,
feel
but
like,
at the
man,
same
yeah,
time,
I feel like I know I could
you
have done
doing shit
something
for him, you would have to
for him, you know what I'm
sacrifice
saying?
like everything you had going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, this world is a heavy. This world is a heavy burden on any man. You feel me? Like, and for
Man,
us to try to share the burden on the next man and feel like we responsible for that shit, it's not right.
yeah,
Like, we should share that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a problem, nigga, I'm gonna help you with that shit. It shouldn't be like I'm gonna carry your load, like, because a lot of time, like, mm,
yeah, it wouldn't have been like that. It would have been helping him. Definitely would have been helping him, man. And I look right now is like if I don't know if anything
yeah,
would be different. I have no like idea, but I just regret that I didn't get the chance to try.
yeah,
And that's what but that I'm trying to use it in a positive light to be there. He's got a 16-year-old son. He's got his mom, his two sisters, his
hmm,
dad, and just trying to be there for them, but especially for his son. That's what I really want to do. So but it's still just like messes with me, man. Like even right now, especially because with it still being fresh, like every time I think about it, it almost like bring me to tears, man.
yeah.
Because that was my And that's my cousin, man, but that was my
like I
brother.
just
Like
lost
we grew up in
a
the same
partner
damn
to
house, man.
one of my OG niggas, man, to a car wreck and shit. And his son going through it. Like, I know his son, that's my little nigga, you know what I'm saying? I don't even have the words to tell the nigga nut. Like, I can't even sit down and talk to him and be like, man, that's gonna be okay. Because when I was going through this shit with my nigga, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no words could help me get through that shit. I just had to go through that shit. You feel me? Like, and then being that he lost his daddy, my nigga, I ain't never lost my dad. My dad is still alive. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing I could tell that nigga. Like, and it hurt me just watching my nigga go through that shit.
Yeah,
You feel me? Like, I could just be like, you know, it's not gonna be okay, but
yeah,
everything he taught you, you know what I'm saying, you gotta, you know what I'm saying, use that shit, you know, to better yourself, you know. Let him live through you.
man. The best thing you could do, man, in this time when you're doing that, man, best thing you can do is just extend people that olive branch, man. You can tell them like just straight up, look, I don't know what you're going through, I don't know what you're feeling. I just want to let you know I've lost people too. So if you need somebody just to talk to, or to vent, or you got some questions just about grieving in general or whatever, just
Mm-hmm.
ask me. Because the last thing you want people to do, man, that's how people fall in depression when they don't have like an outlet like to go to. Like that's the thing. And like even for me, because like when my cousin died, that made me when I saw everybody else pain, that made me feel like okay, the things that I was going through, it kind of like lessened everything. And it's thought because like when I was talking with Say So and Truth about people have visions. You may not have
Yeah,
suicidal visions, but you may have visions of
yeah,
okay, what would happen if I wasn't still here? You know what I'm saying? Would people care? You think about things like that. But seeing what it went through with my cousin, I was just like, man, that's if anything like that happened or people did anything like suicidal, man, like to me in my eyes, I see it, that's
yeah,
like a
yeah.
selfish
Like
real thing,
motherfuckers
man.
that care
Because then
about
you
you
gonna
ain't
have
be
people
caring. You
still
know what I'm
here going
saying?
through
Like,
some real pain over you.
if how could I put it? Like when my nigga got killed, nigga that killed him, he got arrested and shit like that. But let's say he didn't get arrested and shit like that, and then I would have go with my, you know what I'm saying, my move and shit like that, whatever I was supposed to do, you know, or felt like I wanted to do and shit like that. They still got people that care about me, you know what I'm saying? That I'm trying to, you know, that. Oh man, I hope he
Yeah,
don't, cause like soon as that shit happened with my nigga, my mom would them hit me up like woo 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 woo. You all right? You cool? You woo woo woo. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, I'm like, man, I don't even want to talk to y'all. Good luck. Y'all trying to stop me from doing some shit that's already, you know what I'm saying? Like my mind set. You feel me? Like my mind set on go. So whatever y'all telling me, you know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing. Like, and
yeah,
then one nigga, my nigga Eric, Louisiana hit me up like the only nigga dog like throughout the business of shit hit me up on some real genuine shit. Like, you all right? You cool? Not trying to figure out what's going on, trying to be nosy type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I respect that nigga to this day for that shit. Like, you all right? Cool? Woo, woo, woo. You know what I'm saying? Ain't trying to ask, oh man, what happened? Or woo, 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 trying to be fishy and shit like that. Just trying to be genuine and see how I'm doing, you know? And I guess shit like that, shit like that help you get through shit. Like
yeah.
people being genuine, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It it Well, it does, man, because you need that
mm-hmm.
person when they ask you, "Hey, man, you good?" You need to be that person that you can actually tell them, "No, nigga, I'm not good. I'm not good right now. Like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want this." You need that person that you could be able to like, vent to sometimes because when you just have them there and you're able to actually express yourself, it helps you work something out. And not only that, man, you may never know who's going to. Because I had people reach out to me like from high school. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had another guy, man. His locker was right next to mine because we had the same name, same initials too. And he was telling me he was like about how his brother had a battle with like using and stuff like that. He had got off it, then back on, and he was battling with
Yeah.
depression. And his brother ended up like losing his life, messing with stuff, kind of almost a similar thing. You know what I'm saying? So then I had another friend from college. She reached out to me. So it's like when you're actually able to express yourself,
Mm-hmm.
man, you never know who you might end up actually like leaning on. You know what I'm saying? And it's a good thing because you might think when you're going through, you never know who's going to do what, man. It could be somebody that you thought was a square, and he was like, somebody might come up to you, hey man, look, I heard what happened. Hey, look, I know what you're
Hell
probably
yeah.
thinking. I done did the same thing. You probably wouldn't even know, even think this is the type of person that went through what you went through. But it's
Exactly.
like good, yeah, it's good to express yourself, man, because you never know who
Somebody
might
going
end
through
up
some
carrying
worse
you through
shit
it. You
than
know what I'm
you.
saying?
You know,
And it just
like
like it
yeah,
helps you help the
like
next person as well. You know
back
what
in the
I'm saying?
day, like I lost my nanny. You know what I'm saying? She was like a mama to me
Yeah.
and shit like that. Right before my teenage years, I was like 12, 13. You feel me? So like I didn't know how it affected me until I got
Hmm.
older and saw how my friends turned out. You feel me? Like my niggas underneath me, like my partners and shit, like how they turn out. And I'm like, what I was I was hurt the way they took the route they took, you feel me? And I'm like, the fuck, like, like nigga, we that's the only way we could have took, you feel me? And I felt this shit because like I got a I went through some shit that made me abandon y'all. I couldn't be there for y'all, so I gotta live with that shit. That whatever happened with y'all, I was not there for y'all at that certain time. So whatever decisions y'all made or how y'all had to grow up, I gotta live with that shit, you know. And being that I lost myself at that time and I ain't know like what the fuck was going on. I was going through depression at that time. It was the earlier stage. Like I didn't even know. Like the way I came out that bitch, I don't like. I guess I fell in love with the streets. Like so, for me to cope with that shit, I fell in love with some evil shit. You know, some worse shit instead of focusing on where I should have been at. You know, like before my nanny died, nigga, I was a good little boy. Like nigga, I was in church and shit like that. And still at that point, I was still not a holy saint type nigga, like, cause I was still doing my dirt, you know what I'm saying? Giving back to my niggas, you know what I'm saying? But I still had a good heart and shit like that. But when my nanny died, my household, I ain't really want to be that type shit. And at the midst of that, when she died, my mom and my daddy was breaking up and shit like that. Woo, 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 woo. So there was a lot of shit going on. So I guess I shielded myself from being hurt again, I guess, for a long fucking time, I guess.
Thing that
And like now
occupied.
since I'm getting older, I see that I said what I did. Like I shielded myself from getting hurt. Like I never allowed nobody to get too close to me type shit. Like I built up a border around me. And then as when I'm
Yeah.
letting this shit down, I'm getting introduced to new people, Derek, choking and shit like that. And that shit going, you know what I'm saying? And then tragedy hit again and I'm like, like the fuck? Like, and then with all this shit, with all this shit going bad, and I'm thinking about giving up. Like shit just keep happening to make me believe, like, man, like you really here for a purpose and shit. Like I don't even know though how to even put it in words because my vocabulary not even on that level for people to even grasp. Like if you can't, I don't even like. You can go back to my posters from last year. I was like 2020 about to be the year for us, like exit force type shit. Like with us winning that state championship, like and so much shit going on, so much people in my community making money off of being self entrepreneurs. Should I put it like all my dreams really coming true, even with all the fucking heartache. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and it makes me like, man, even though all this bad shit happening, good shit still happening. Long as I show love to people. Like, I'm not. I'm starting to think like love is the fucking key. Like, we gotta keep loving each other. Like, even though like shit be bad, we gotta love each other. Like, I was going through some shit. It had to be people with genuine love to help me through that bad situation, you know? Like, I don't know. Like,
Man, I'll tell you this, whether you feel it's love or whatever, the thing that you gotta
yeah,
understand is no matter what happens, like you got to keep living. You got to keep pushing forward. So that's the main thing. And love helps that. If you have people who have genuine love for you, but if you really don't have that love, then you got to have something. You
ambition.
got to have something, but you just got to
You gotta
have
have
that
ambition.
something
Yeah,
that's gonna drive you like to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Some type of goal or some type of force. Yeah, exactly. And wherever you draw it from, whether it's from like the strength of the love of your lost
hell
ones,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, or the love that you have for you, because you gotta love yourself too, love that you have for yourself to push forward,
Hmm.
or just the fact that it's like, okay, I don't want to see other people going by this. If you just want to be an example, because you never know who looking, man. You can
Hell
have
yeah.
one fan. If you save one life, man, you did, you
Man,
know what I'm
look,
saying, you did a lifetime of work.
if
You
I
know what I'm
fuck up,
saying?
I boss one nigga up, nigga, I'm good. And like through my life, nigga, I done boss up a
You
whole
know,
motherfucking community. Nigga, I be feeling good like when I see people like just branding they shit up. Like we're about to start this. We about to. It's my brand, man. I be feeling like, bro, that shit just touched my heart. Even though if I ain't making no money from it, even if I don't get no recognition from it, you know. Oh, Blake put me on this shit. Oh, Blake taught me this, how to think like this. I don't give a fuck. Just I see you doing good for yourself, and you not going to work punching the clock for the next man. You punching the clock for yourself, man. I love that shit, dog. Man, I be like, I be fucking extraordinary, whatever the fucking e word is that these white people use. I be just so yeah. I know what I know what it
ecstatic.
means when I hear it, but I can't say it. You know, I ain't stupid, but I just can't my vocabulary. My we can get back to this motherfucker. They stole our language from us, so I don't know how to express myself properly. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm fucking limited on my expression of thoughts and shit like that. So like yeah, man, like I see my man, I should be making me so proud. Like, bro, I can
Yeah, I
see a
feel
nigga
you.
he can even try to start a business tomorrow. Like, man, that make me so proud that he even try to work for himself, my nigga, that niggas don't even understand. Like, you just trying to be a boss. Make me happy. Like that shit make me happy. Like, you trying. You try. I don't give a fuck if you succeed. You be a billionaire. I don't give a fuck if you make $1 out your business. I'm happy that you even try to even become a boss. Like you was self aware that you could do this shit to yourself. Like,
Yeah,
cause everybody got their own talent, their own
yeah,
they everybody got their own thing they bring to the table. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like in this society is all about capitalism. So like
Hmm.
that's the sick shit about shit. Like
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
everybody's trying to capitalize off what their talent can bring or what they can bring to the table, and that's fucked up. Like that's fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, and people don't realize, man. That's why you gotta have like a strong mental health, like to be able to endure it, to be able to
Hmm.
endure this stuff. Because like even me, just simple things right now. We got the karaoke set up, right? So I ain't really want to pull my speakers and stuff out of my room, but I did because my sister yesterday right before we was about to start the party and stuff, like a car hit her dog.
Yeah.
Now my sister's an extreme animal lover, man. She had 3 dogs, 4 cats, so it's real, and that's like her children, man. So so she in order for her like. What I'm saying? We
Hmm.
everybody pulling together, even though a lot of people normally we wouldn't even do karaoke or
Yeah.
nothing like that. Some of us because we don't really like it, but it's not it ain't about what we like. You know what I'm saying? It's like okay, do this for her so we can have fun, take her mind off of it. You know what I'm saying? Make sure she's not going into a place where she don't need to be. Say what I'm saying, so we can help save her mental health.
Yeah.
And help just move forward with her through this. You know what I'm saying? Because we know it's gonna be a
Exactly,
process.
my
Because
nigga.
man, people
I
love
was
their
just talking
pets,
to my
man.
partner
That's
about my
like that's
dog.
like that was like
Like
one
he
of
told
one
me
of
he
her
had to put
children.
his dog down. I'm like, bro, I'm happy about it. I didn't have to put my dog down. I gave him to my cousin when I felt someone right with him. I gave him away so I didn't have to go through that process of putting my dog down. Like I don't understand that process of you paying somebody else to kill your dog. Like type shit. Like I'm not about to pay you no money to kill my dog, nigga. Like the fuck. I'm gonna deal with this shit
Yeah.
personally. Like that's like paying somebody to kill my mama. Like I know my mama suffering.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I'm not about to pay
definitely,
you to
man.
kill the doctor. Bitch,
And
I'd rather deal with this shit myself. Like at the end of the day.
yeah, you rather just like have it happen or whatever. You know what I'm saying? When it comes
Mm-hmm.
whenever death comes unexpected, man, like to you like that, to when you have to deal with it, just like the thing with my cousin, the grieving process is totally different because,
Yeah.
and that's another thing people understand. Like you understand,
Yeah.
like the different types of
Yeah.
grief and how you gonna deal with it. Man, it'll hit you hard in different ways. And so a lot of times we aren't prepared for that. Nobody talks like people
Mm-hmm.
say it from time to time, like time doesn't wait for anybody, or our time is limited.
Yeah.
But everybody hadn't
Yeah.
experienced like a death of a peer, somebody that's your age that you felt like wasn't supposed to die. Dealing with
Exactly.
that is totally different than an older person who you felt like, oh, well, she was getting up there, she ain't suffering no more. You think about it differently than a person who, whether they got shot,
Yeah.
whether they were, what I'm saying, using drugs or dealing with whatever, or whether you saw them have a sickness and
Hell
deteriorate.
yeah.
When it's
Like
somebody your age,
this
you
little
just look
nigga
at it
just
different, and
died
it
in cancer,
it
bro.
hits
Like
way
he
harder.
24
I
years old,
feel
he died of cancer.
when you
He
connected to that
24 years
person.
old, he been fighting it, bro, since years, my nigga. Like, and it makes you look at life totally fucking different. Like,
And see what I Yeah, man. And when I battle stuff like that, yeah, it makes me look. Honestly, I get angry when
yeah,
I hear stuff like that because you hear all the time, oh, God doesn't make mistakes. When people bring religion into it, and I ask questions like, well, what, like, does he? And it makes me so mad, man. No matter what you do, you could be living your life right. You could be
yeah.
eating right, exercising every day. You go to the doctor one day, you got cancer, or you got this, you got that, and it makes me so angry, man. That no matter what you do, you cannot just live your life. It doesn't matter what you do,
Mm-hmm.
that at any point you could just die because of whatever the universe puts on you, or whatever some person or whatever you might do to yourself at any point. Like it could just be over, man. And it just I understand certain things when you put yourself in a dangerous situation, but when you just living your life, man, then some shit comes along. It's like, for me, it's like, what the fuck, man. Like I have an aunt right now that's dealing with cancer, and by
Oh,
the time she found out, she was like she was in the third
mm-hmm.
stages. Then she lost her house in the
Yeah.
hurricane of Lake Charles,
And
and
like
I was just like,
with us,
I
with
was just
black
like,
people,
man, what the hell?
we was limited to doctors we could have see anyway. So like we always behind. Like we was set to be behind. And then since we are behind, we fucked. Like it was always against us. Like the fucking chessboard been always against us. And like we go to the doctor now. We finally got the opportunity to go see doctors and shit. And we still not seeing the specialists. So all the information we getting gonna be bad news anyway. It's gonna be too late information anyway. Like they don't give a fuck about us. And if you go into genetics, we a whole different species from what the fuck they studying.
Oh,
Like
oh no, no, man. I went into the hospital on Mother's Day about a year or two ago, and they told me my sugar level was high, and I was dealing with
yeah.
type 2 diabetes, but I could reverse it. This is my first time hearing anything of it. But when I was in there, like brother, the shit they kept giving me like hand sandwiches and oranges and like juice and stuff to drink while I'm eating, and
Uh-huh.
then they sitting there like, oh, well, sugar's not going down, bitch. I wonder why. Like y'all not really trying to get my sugar lower. Y'all, and then it never really lowered. It just flattened out at like two something the whole time, and they
Orange
would just
juice rise your
and like the
sugar.
whole time I'm in there, they just like, oh, okay, it's this, is that, and they just kept it there. And even exactly, and then my nurse, who's a my nurse, my friend, my best friend, who was a nurse, she came and visited me, and even the fact that it was telling her At first, it was like, yeah, she was like, well, normally when people come in there, we try to keep their sugar at 2. 2 is
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, what you want to be. You don't want to get too low, like in the ones. And I was like, no, it's supposed to be in the hundred somethings. I was like, I've been researching this stuff and asking other people.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, y'all tripping. So
Oh
I
yeah.
stopped taking everything they gave me. I was like, bro, I'm gonna deal with this on my own. I was like, y'all tripping. Because it's like they just try to get you in that cycle. And that's another form of, like when the body's doing there, things not going right.
Oh
That's
yeah.
another thing, man, that could drive you into depression as well. It's so many things, man. When you the best way I could categorize depression is like when you just totally not feeling yourself, man, and you can't get back to yourself. When just something is just whether it's you dealing with something mental or something physical, but it all comes full circle, man. It's like when you
Mm-hmm.
just not yourself and you can't find yourself
When you
anymore and
numb,
you can't feel who you are. That's when
you
you
fucking numb.
that's when you in
You
depression. You know
numb
what
to
I'm saying?
life.
Yeah, you just can't. Yeah, you just
Mm-hmm.
can't feel who you are
Hey,
anymore,
you hit
man.
that
You're
shit
trying
right on
things,
the
things
nail,
not
dog.
working. You're not
Hey,
even
you hit that
responding
right
to
on the
things the
nail.
same way.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I've been thinking about this stuff for a while, man, because I've seen what it could do. Because with me, it brought on like anxiety and stuff, and now I was dealing with it at such a time to where I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I went to a therapist and I learned certain things. So like I've been doing a lot of self reflection now. So I really try to dive into my feelings, like how I feel angry. Now what I do is like, man, I actually express it, and I try the best way to express it so people know how
That's
I'm feeling.
right.
Like with my family right now, like when after my cousin passed, I'm like, yo, we definitely need to be closer. And so like I don't be taking no for no answer no
Mm-hmm.
more. Like all that stuff, I be like trying to come with different options, but I still try not to go off on them or whatever.
I'm gonna let y'all
Sometimes I
know.
feel like it, but I just try to make sure, okay, whatever's on my mind, whatever I'm feeling,
Mm-hmm.
try to yeah, so
I
I don't have
promise
no
you. Yeah,
regrets.
I'm
Like,
on that
damn, we
same
should have
shit.
did this, and should have did that. Nah, ain't no more
Man,
of
I
that.
just got on the phone with my nigga. He like, oh man, you talking about that? Whoop whoop whoop. I'm like, nigga, we all gotta die one day, man. Nigga, I'm not scared to die. But I just look. I'm telling you this shit because I want you to feel. I want you to be prepared, nigga. Right, nigga. When I die, it's gonna be a whole bunch of money to make. You feel me? Make that fucking money. You feel me? That's what make that fucking money. I told my mom,
Yeah.
look, my funeral paid for, but if you want to throw a benefit, throw a motherfucking benefit. The fuck, take their fucking money. Motherfuckers don't love me any fucking way. They don't love me anyway. They just want to try to feel like they did something important to help me. Man, fuck them. Get their fucking money. Like fuck them, man. Like
Yeah, you running into that. I had a guy to show up to
like,
my cousin's funeral, man. I wanted to knock his head off clean on sight. Cause remember that video I told you about when my cousin was like down bad. He reposted that video
the
talking
fuck.
about, oh, that was my guy, and laughing emojis. I'm like, nigga, what's funny about this? And he was like, that's who we were. Cause he said he fell into that same trap. My cousin, nah, nigga, that's who you were. Cause my cousin was getting his shit together.
Yeah,
Don't
the
try
fuck.
to sit there and like define him
That's
like by
fucked
one
up.
moment in his life.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, man. Definitely, man. It's crazy, but man, the main thing is people just gotta, learn to recognize it's okay to reach out for help because anybody that's listening to this or anybody that's going through it, you don't know how much that
No,
support is
because
gonna
you
help
don't
you until
realize
you're out of it
that you
because you can't really
suffering.
see it
Like
when
you
you're in
don't
it. You know what I'm
realize that
saying?
you going through it. Like you don't realize you in that state of mind of where you're not worrying about nothing else. Like I'm gonna just put it in my state of depression. Like I would wake up and just go to work, come home, go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Nothing else. Like I would try to forget about everything else because everything else would lead back to that thinking
Yeah,
about my
and,
nigga.
and
You
you
know what I'm saying? Like
and that's what you're doing,
yeah,
man. When you sleep, you
yeah.
can't thinking about it. When you work, you got to focus on work. So as long as
No,
you're
it,
busy, you're not thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of numbs the
yep.
pain, but it don't fix it. Cause then it's gonna be a day when you're off. It's gonna be a day when you're
And
sick.
the
It's gonna be a
worst
day
thing
when
I
you
hate
can't
when
go in.
people
It's
told
gonna
me,
be a
man,
day when
time,
you're gonna
just
just have
time
to
gonna
sit
heal
there
wounds.
and you're gonna be
That
in your
shit don't.
thoughts.
That shit don't heal. That shit. That shit make it worse. You feel me? Time make it worse. You gotta deal with that shit. You gotta face it. You know what I'm saying?
What the thing is, like, here's the thing, because the people didn't understand this about wounds. Because even think about it, if you get, say, if you get shot
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
bullet
Oh,
goes through your
hell
arm,
yeah.
it goes through and like it heals up, but it's never the same. Like from anything,
Mm-hmm.
even when you get, I got scars from when I was a kid where it wasn't nothing major, but it's still there. You know what I'm saying? So
You scarred,
so
nigga.
it heals
Yeah,
up,
that
even
shit
if it's
scarred.
a discoloration. Whenever you get scarred up, it's never really, yeah, it's never really the same. So people gotta understand that. So when it comes to that, and you're dealing with grief and getting through that,
It depends on how you accept the grief,
you never
though,
really get
because you
over
might
it. It
not
just
even
gets
accept the person
easier
being
to
dead
deal
at the
with. You know
time.
what I'm saying?
You know, like
Sorry, class, but we're gonna have to cut class short today. So stay tuned for part 2.